This is Elizabeth. Before the coronavirus pandemic, she was working 30 hours a week for the University of Minnesota Office of Admissions. Then in March, when the pandemic shut campus down, her hours were cut to 10. To help student workers, U President Joan Gable promised they'd receive a payment equal to the hours they normally work. But although Elizabeth had worked 30 hours a week, she's now only paid for 10 because her hours were cut.
We were overlooked and no one thought about, what about the student workers who are able to work from home, but their hours were reduced significantly.
Elizabeth and other students in her position are caught in a gap. If you work 30 hours a week and can continue that work, you're paid for those 30 hours. If you work 30 hours a week and your hours were cut all the way to zero, you're still paid for those 30 hours a week. But if you're caught in between, if your hours have been reduced but not eliminated, you could be losing hundreds of dollars that could be spent on living expenses or student loans. The good news, it might be an easy fix.
I think HR just has to be aware to get our payroll history to further correct it.
Elizabeth's issue is just one of many economic hardships faced by university students across the U.S. as a result of the coronavirus. Here are 5 policy changes that could help students through the coronavirus. Here's a second policy. This is Jacob Smiley. He's a history major who had a coronavirus scare.
And I was sick and I had all the symptoms, right? So I went and get the test. They told me it was free, but then some weeks later I get the bill and it's $350, right?
Some activists propose making all coronavirus treatment and testing free of charge. One survey found that voters support making all coronavirus health coverage free by a hefty margin. This would have saved Jacob money and could encourage people like him to get tested. Here's a third idea that would help university students out. Sammy Payne was working 36 hours a week at 3 part-time jobs, but she's only getting paid time off for one of those, meaning her pay has dropped to 12 hours a week.
I definitely have to take into consideration my rent for next year, and I even thought about for a second if I'm able to stay in the apartment that I'm in.
One poll found that assisting all workers who have been laid off, including part-time workers, is overwhelmingly popular. Perhaps the top concern for students, however, is that they might not get paid over the summer.
I work during the summer, so I'll be sad if my stream of income gets cut off there.
Federal legislators are debating how much money to allocate to higher ed. They could consider providing enough money to pay students who would normally work summer jobs. One final option is extending stimulus checks to dependents.
I know I didn't qualify for the stimulus check because I'm technically dependent on my parents' taxes, but I still pay for everything myself.
Some lawmakers are proposing dropping the dependent restrictions in the next round of stimulus money, so college students who file as dependents would still receive a check. Congress is debating a new relief package. If they pursue some of these ideas, it would have a big impact for university students across the country.